Episode 39, Heaven Help Us. Welcome back to One Extraordinary Marriage, where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of intimacy. You're here with Elisa DiLorenzo.
And Tony DiLorenzo.
This is kind of exciting. This is episode 39. We are one away from like the big 4-0.
We are. Can you believe it?
No.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We got some cool things in store for you guys too.
It's just
we're gonna start taking it up a notch come episode 40. Elise and I have been talking last couple of weeks about some things that we really want to start doing. So
what are we going to be, like the Emerald of,
we are,
a little BAM action? Kick it up a notch?
We're going to kick this thing up a notch and kick you all in the butt, and everybody's going to just have extraordinary marriages.
There you go. BAM.
That's it.
BAM.
I don't know if we're going to be doing BAM though, babe.
No BAM. I know, but that's what I love about Emerald. BAM.
Well,
kick it up a notch.
That's Emerald. We're not Emerald.
All right. Well, take my fun away. Anyway.
How y'all doing?
I hope it's going well. It's been an interesting week here in the DiLorenzo household.
When isn't it?
Some weeks were kind of mellow.
That's true.
This is not really been, I mean, we've had some really awesome things happen this week, and I was a stinker on Friday, so that was not so good. And then Alex was a stinker on Saturday, so that was not so good. And you actually did not go 3 for 3. Appy was not a stinker on you today.
Nope.
Nice try.
That was good.
2 out of 3 though this weekend.
It's been a good week. It's just been one of those weeks where things are going up, things are coming down. Oh,
family,
it's just
drama.
Life. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of reality.
Yep. Where do you want to start with?
Oh, let's start with something good.
Yeah, I say so too.
So you redeemed your birthday present today.
I did. So my birthday's in June, and my lovely wife, Elisa, got me 2 lessons, surf lessons, with a surf school here in San Diego. And Alex and I finally redeemed them today. And it was absolutely amazing. It was just so much fun. It was a 3-hour lesson, and it was just Alex and I in the class. Obviously, summer is pretty much done. Although the beach was pretty darn packed today, I was pretty surprised with how many people were out there.
Oh, I think that's because we were at Dog Beach.
I know, but it's still sort of breezy,
nice. Yeah.
But, man, so exhilarating. I got to tell you, I grew up here in Southern California. I actually grew up just west of Palm Springs, and my folks actually still live in this town called Banning, and that's where I grew up and graduated from high school. So I was never a beach kind of guy. I mean, we lived in the desert. So when Elisa and I moved, we lived in Orange County.
We've lived all over.
But we really never went to the beaches when we lived in Orange County.
No.
We'd go to Huntington Beach
We'd walk around, but never like go to the beach.
Right. And so since being in San Diego for the last almost 8 years now, we tend to go to the beach a lot. I mean, we make it a monthly occurrence. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe that's not a lot, but for us, there's a lot of other things we love to do too. So to actually learn to surf as a SoCal kid was really fun. It has to be, and I'm not an ocean person. When the kids want to go in, I'm about knee high. I don't like being in the water. There's something about it sometimes that it's just sort of like, what's swimming in there and who's pissed in it?
Yeah, there you go. And you're at Dog Beach today. So.
And then we're at Dog Beach today on top of all that. So I'm not really a big ocean person, but I will have to say that the experience I had today in the ocean surfing was the best ever.
Yeah, I mean, you got pretty beat up.
Oh, I got beat up big time.
But I did get pictures of both you and Alex actually surfing up on the board.
Yep.
And it was fun because Abby and I went down. I was going down because I like to take the pictures, and I was really hoping to be able to get some pictures of them today up on the boards. And it was nice because she was able to hang without able to get too whiny until just about the last 5 or 10 minutes you were out in the water. And
right.
And so it was great. I mean, watching, you guys had an awesome instructor, Veronica.
Yeah.
There at, what was it, Ocean Beach Surf and Skate? skate
I
and
think
surf,
so.
something like that.
Something like that.
She was very patient. Alex never got frustrated, which, given that she was having them do all these balance exercises and drills just to kind of simulate before they even got any, they spent almost an hour and a half
just on dry land.
Before.
Yeah, these things that she pulled out, they're called Indo boards.
Yeah, really.
And they're really cool. And if you look them up online, just look up Indo boards, and they're almost shaped like an oval. And what you do is you put a disc beneath it,
like a large inflated disc. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean you can make it soft, or you can really pump it up. And if you really pump it up, the difficulty goes up as well. And what you do, it's all about core balance. And you get on these things, and you're working this trying to get this feeling of being on the water with the disc under you. Then she also put a roller under us, and that was to help us get up on the board. I will have to say, if you've never surfed, just being on your belly and catching that wave and the sensation that you get with the air coming and the water sort of spraying over, it was really cool. And I've gone as fast as like 55 miles an hour downhill on my bike, which is an exhilarating sensation. But I gotta say, this was like really cool. Just that sensation. And I was on my belly. I wasn't even standing up. Standing up was like messed it up for me because I couldn't. There was so much to think about. It's like, okay, my balance, this leg goes forward, this, that, jump here, do that. I mean, again, I'm not a surfer. Put me on a bike and I feel better. But it was really cool. I mean, if I just get a boogie board with Alex, I'd be happy. You know what I mean? That would be cool with me.
I'll keep that in mind for next year's birthday present.
I think Alex and I are going to just go buy boogie boards and start boogie boarding.
Oh, well, there you go.
So we'll find something at Costco or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have a sale up at Costco.
Except you're kind of coming out of season. Just keep that in mind.
That's true. Well, we'll find some deals somewhere. Probably like at K5.
K5. There you go.
I bet you they'd have a deal or something going on.
Yeah, so needless to say, I scored big with the birthday present.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just cool. And Alex tonight, I was talking to him, and he rated it a 7 out of 10.
My other 3 points were where?
I don't know, but you know what? Alex had a good time. He was very patient. I mean, there was a lot of stuff we had to learn, and I think he was just cold. He didn't want to put on his wetsuit. I don't know why. And then once he started getting cold, it was over. And I told him, I was like, Alex, just go put your wetsuit on. And he didn't want to. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was fun to watch. I'm definitely not a cold water person.
Right.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun family afternoon. We did a lot of family stuff this weekend. We went up and saw your grandmother. Yeah. Yesterday.
Prayers for my 87-year-old, soon to be 88-year-old grandmother. She is has just been put in a retirement home in the last month.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a very, very big change for my grandmother.
For your whole family.
For the whole family, yeah. She's starting to lose it a little bit. And so we went up there. You and I and the kids have planned to try to make it up there at least once a month and take her to lunch and just spend some time with her. And it so happened one of my uncles, it was his birthday. So my folks came down, my uncle and my aunt came down as well.
Your brother
and my brother came on over as well. And so we just all spent a fun afternoon with my nonna is what we have always called her since I have known her. So it's tough. It's tough as a grandchild to see sort of that deterioration happening. It's tough as a grandchild to speak with her on the phone and hear the anxiety and I mean, every time I get off the phone with her now, I mean, there are tears. I mean, she's lonely. She has lived with one of my aunts and one of my uncles for many, many years. So it's just tough. And, I've talked, many episodes ago, I think it's episode 6, Prayer Works, or The Power of Prayer is what that one was called. Just talking about my prayers for just being able to say I love you to my dad and how we broke that barrier. And I truly give that all up to God. And, yesterday was one of those times where after lunch, my dad and he just wanted to show me around because he's very proud of the area and where she is. And he and I got to just sit by the pool and nobody bothered us for a good 20, 30 minutes. And it was just a really good time for Dad and I just to talk. And
nobody bothered you because nobody knew where you were.
Well, that was sort of the idea. And I think it was good.
I
think
like
it was
how
good
you
for
put
Dad.
that, because I'm like, oh, we didn't even know where you were.
Yeah, I think it was good for Dad, though. He
sure it
needed
was.
to get some stuff off his chest, and it's interesting as I grow older and I see the things that he's going through now. I mean, just what a loving and awesome dad he is, you know. And I never realized that as a kid. I never did, but I look at him now and I just go, wow, you know, what a loving man he is for his whole family. He loves all of us, and just to be there and comfort him, help him through, and just to listen. That's all I was there for, is really just to listen to him during that time. So it's tough. We're trying to balance life, our own lives, and now this is being thrown in. This year seems like since school started, we got a lot going on with the kiddos. Abby started dance school.
Abby started ballet.
And she is just
She's our performer.
She is our performer. I mean, if you have, which all of us do, it's just if we really go after it and see it and sense it, we have a gift from God. God has given us something. Many of the times we just squelch it because we've been told so many times, what are you going to do with that? You can't make money with that. And for some reason, our society always equates your passion and your desire or your hobby with making money. I disagree wholeheartedly, because I bicycle 6,000 miles a year and I've never made a penny from it. But I'll tell you, it is a gift when I am able to be out there with other guys who are either Christian or non-Christian, and I can just sit there and listen to them and talk to them. So that's just my little gift story. But Abby has a gift. She does. I mean, that girl loves to dance.
She has a passion. She has an absolute passion. I mean, she sings to herself all the time. I mean, if you kind of lose track of where she is in the house, if you just listen, you know, whether she's working on a puzzle or coloring, all of a sudden you just start to hear song come from some corner, and you know where she is. And it's been very cute to see how quickly she has fallen in love with her dance teacher. You know, she's had one class and we had to go back to just take care of something the other day. And at the end of the first class, she, you know, we're getting ready to leave. I'm trying to get her to go. And she was like, hold on, Mom. I have to go give Miss Jerry a hug. And, you know, while she's very shy, you know, she has to kind of observe the fact that after one class, she wanted to go give her teacher a hug. That's a testament to the teacher.
That speaks volumes.
Because, you know, she's once she knows you, she's incredibly loving, but getting there sometimes, she wants to make sure you're okay first. So very excited about that. And Alex is starting flag football again this week. So he'll be doing flag football.
And then he starts up Lego.
He's going to be doing a Lego after school program in October.
That's cool.
So which is cool for him.
Yeah, Alex loves his Legos.
Alex has that engineering, like, let's put stuff together. How does it work? What new stuff can we make? And so I'm very excited that he's got the opportunity to take part in this class where he can really explore that even further with some different, like the Technic Lego motor. I don't know. I try and put the blocks together, but I never do it well enough.
So what does that mean for marriage and intimacy?
Means mom's chauffeuring.
It means balancing,
means,
prioritizing you guys,
you know, juggling schedules and making sure, you know, things like dinner doesn't get lost in the shuffle somewhere.
It's making sure sex doesn't get lost in the shuffle somewhere. It's making sure romance doesn't get lost in the shuffle. It's making sure communication doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
And we know we're not alone with busy schedules. In fact, I mean, our kids are actually very
our kids
minimal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
what
many
some
of you
out there are between, you know, if you've got multiple kids and multiple sports, you might not ever be home before 7:00 at night. And we know that's tough.
Yep.
And we know this time of year as everybody's adjusting to new schedules and just trying to balance all of that. We know that's tough. You know, and so it's being conscious of what's going on in your family life so that it doesn't negatively impact your married life. because you've got to remember, and we go back to this week in and week out, you've got to put your married life as a priority.
That needs to be first.
It needs to be before the kids.
Yep.
And if you're so tired, and I'm speaking to whoever chauffeurs the kids around, in our case, it's me. If you're so tired from the kids going here, there, and everywhere, and dinner is, not getting done, and, nothing's getting done, and you're just frazzled, it might be time for the kids to back off a few things.
Right. I agree. No, I agree. I mean, in there are phases too, I think, in life where you may do more things, and then you come down for a period of rest.
Mm-hmm.
I think where a lot of us mess up is that we keep doing a lot of things, and we keep adding more things, and we add more things. And so we get to the point where we are just beat down, tired, and we're running around and we don't get it. So look at your schedules and realize having rest is good. God has called us to rest one day a week. Do you do it? I mean, I know sometimes we don't.
Oh yeah.
But there are definitely weekends where we do nothing. I mean, I will go for a bike ride and we do nothing. We laze around the house.
Yep.
And do nothing. Play board games, watch TV, football, whatever. But to us, we're not running around. I mean, this weekend to us was a run around weekend when we're spending, 9 hours, driving and hanging out with family. And then today,
I didn't get my laundry done. I didn't go to the grocery store.
I mean, we were running around. So
yeah, things like that. It just takes a toll, and you've got to balance it.
So the big thing for Elisa and I this week was Friday afternoon. We had one of our classic tiffs.
A classic tiff.
Yes. And the reason I call it classic is because I was trying very hard not to attack you. And I got the classic Elisa, let me shut down and not talk. And so I have no reaction. And so I began to get visibly upset, and my voice was going up. And all you did was stand there and look at me with this blank deer in the headlights stare.
Processing.
That drives me nuts.
Yes.
Okay.
This whole thing started because I shared with you that I had been upset about something that you didn't think I should be upset about.
Well, you were upset, right? When I was leaving for work in the morning, you were working on some stuff that you honestly did not want to be doing. What I found very discouraging is when I come home that day and we're talking about it, that you had said throughout the day it had bothered you.
Sometimes, in case you haven't picked up on this on the last 38 episodes, sometimes it's difficult for me to let go of things. This was one of those days where I didn't let go. He's shaking his head now.
Well, I just don't get it.
You're not that type of person.
Well, just let it go. Well, how can you how do you allow it to ruin your whole day is what I was saying to you.
Because sometimes that's what happens in my life. You are the let go person. I am not. I am the hold on to person.
Yeah, I'm the let go person, but I got like some stress that's like messing up my mouth and stuff. So
that's probably me.
Well, no, it's not you at all. I don't know what it is.
I'm glad I'm off the hook for that one.
But you're saying I'm the let go person. But if I was a let go person, I wouldn't be dealing with the stress that I'm dealing with right now, which I don't even understand why. So
yeah.
But it was just a classic.
So we went through and we had this.
But here's
discussion.
Right. But here's the thing that I wanted to bring up is that all of you know the awkward feeling after the argument. That, okay, I just blew up, and this is what was going through my mind. I'm like, I just blew up. And that's not the way it was supposed to happen. I'm trying to work through this. I'm trying to talk to Elisa cordially. I'm trying to sort of dissect it a little bit, trying to help her along. I'm trying to fix it. I know you're women. I know you're shaking your heads going, that's not what we want. We just want you to listen. I know this. I've been dealing with marriage long enough and dealing with and talking to many of you long enough that I know I was making the classic mistake as a husband in trying to fix it And thank you for rolling your eyes, my beautiful one.
I'm shaking my head in agreement with you.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's after the argument, what do you do? And so Elise and I, the argument went from our garage, our home office, and it sort of, the kids were watching TV, and it sort of meandered into our kitchen.
Because I had to make dinner.
Because Elise had to make dinner, which you weren't really making dinner because you were listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's finally at the point where we're just like, fine, it's done. Let's move on. But it's that awkwardness. Because at that point in time, I'm like, what the heck do I do now? She's pissed off at me. I've made the classic mistake of trying to fix something that I cannot really fix. And so what do I go do? I just start emptying the dishwasher. Don't really want to make eye contact. I'm like, well, I might as well do something. So I'm in the kitchen. I might as well empty the dishwasher.
Okay, and your point is?
My point is that awkwardness that happens after the argument. And what do you do?
So what are you saying you should have done? I appreciated the dishwasher getting emptied.
I figured you would appreciate that.
What do you think you should have done?
I think what I did was okay. I mean, I was still trying to be present. I didn't storm off.
True. You didn't come out and play on the computer.
I didn't come out and just play on the computer and sulk. What I was trying to do was be present and just go, okay, I know I screwed up. In my own mind, I was just going, you know what? I'm going to just stay present, and hopefully an opportunity will arise once we both just sort of settle down a little bit, and we'll be able to talk. And I don't think it happened.
Well, because when I told you it was over, this is something that's been new for me, and it's probably why you don't recognize it so much. When I tell you something's over, it's over. And so, like, it was over for me. I'm like, we'd come to a conclusion. I had agreed with some of the points that you made. You had made valid points, and I told you so. And you called me on it, and you told me to grow up. And, I was like, okay, valid points. And, you're right. I didn't want you to fix anything. I just wanted you to hear what I was saying.
Yeah.
And so it was over for me. And so, Alex was having friends over because for those of you that aren't Star Wars fans, it was the premiere of the Clone Wars on Cartoon Network. So we had a Clone Wars party Friday night. And after that, it was, the last night of my 3 nights. And I didn't want Tony getting on the air again this week and saying, you know what, it was 3 nights and I didn't get any. And so we had to do a makeup day on Saturday. So we made love.
Yeah, you initiated.
I initiated and we made love Friday night.
That was beautiful.
It was good.
Yep, I was happy.
So no complaints on, my 3 days. And
no, I think the best thing is that we're able to realize what we do, work through it, not hold any grudges, not, come back, it's over, it's done, and we just move on. And I hope that you guys can continue to work in your marriages and your communication where you're able to get to that point. Because truly, when you get to that point, it's a done deal, like Elisa said. It's a done deal, and you just move on. So,
I mean, because at that point in time, I didn't have anything else. I talked it out.
Yeah.
So
it was good.
So that was the low point of the week.
That was a low point, but we always have.
We always got something to talk about. I do have to say, we've been receiving quite a few emails from you guys. Love that you are contacting me at askalisa@oneextraordinarymarriage.com
or ask Tony at oneextraordinarymarriage.com. You can also call us at 858-876-5663.
Mm-hmm. And I've got one email that I want to read, and I know Tony's got a couple voicemails that he wants to play.
Couple voicemails from the same person.
His phone cut off.
Yes.
It's one of those things. Last week I had shared with you an email from Carrie.
Yep.
And she sent me another email this week, and I want to share it with you because it hits home to so much of what we talk about. She says, Elisa, I did it. I took the initiative and sat down and had the talk with Blake. We just laid it all out for the first time in 12 years and talked about our wants, desires, where we want things to go, and come to find out we were both afraid of confronting each other and we were both afraid of confronting each other, and we both want the same things. I couldn't have gotten up the courage to do this without you. Carrie, you did that on your own. That was just, maybe we gave you a little encouragement, but all of that strength and courage to do it, that's all you.
Praise God.
I was terrified and shaking and afraid he would think I was strange or he wouldn't want to try new things. He is just as excited as I am. My marriage is getting ready to make a slow 360-degree turn. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I can't wait to see what is in store for us. We still have a lot to work on, but it's so nice to know that there is actually light at the end of the tunnel. Again, what a day.
Praise God.
Carrie did it, you guys. She did what we encourage all of you to talk about. If there's something going on in your marriage, you need to take that fear and say, you know what? My marriage is so much more important than the fear that I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to say, you know what? This is what I would love to have in our marriage, or this is what's going on, or this is whatever it is that you need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard us say it on so many episodes. You need to, Carrie made the time. Blake made the time to sit down and have a heart-to-heart about their marriage. It wasn't in passing, between running kids here and there. It wasn't on the way to work. It wasn't, oh, by the way, can you pick up milk? And I'm mad about this, or I want to do this. It was, no, let's sit down. Kids are wherever they are. You and me, let's have a talk about what our marriage is and where we want it to go.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they both want to go the same place. They were just scared of talking about it to each other. And I wonder how many of you out there don't even know that your spouse wants to go the same place that you do, but nobody's talking about it.
Right.
Because, it's like we talked about when we were talking about the first chapters of the book. You get so scared or just scared. Sometimes you're scared about talking about it. Sometimes you've just gotten into the habit of only talking about the surface stuff.
Right.
Challenge yourself. Go out there, get out on a limb and see, just like Carrie says, can't wait to see what's in store for us.
Right. It's time to talk about sex, folks. In a way that is appropriate and doable for you.
In your marriage.
In your marriage. But it's time to start talking about it. It still shocks me to this day sometimes when people they'll come up to me, and we'll be somewhere, typically, at our church or something, and people know what we talk about and what we've done. But it's like they come to us and they start talking about it, and it's almost in a hush. Like, it's like God gave us this amazing thing that we can do as a husband and wife. It's time to start talking about it. Mm-hmm. And not being afraid to talk about it. And hopefully Elisa and I can be that light for you, because it's necessary. And we know, because we didn't talk about it for many years in our marriage, and we know what it did to us, and we know what it's doing for us now that we do talk about it. So mull that over and start thinking about it. Now, do you want to do it right in front of your 7, 8, 9-year-old kids, or even your teenagers? No. I mean,
this is not their conversation. This is yours. This is a grown-up.
Do you need to have that discussion with your kids? Yes.
At some point in time.
At some point in time. So, but we're not going to go into that this show. But we got way too much to talk about. All right. You know what? Let's run Tim's voicemail.
Okay.
Hold on here. Let me get Tim going on here.
Hey, Tony and Elisa, this is Tim from Atlanta again.
Hey, Tim.
One of those mainstays, one of those where, oh, man, I should have blocked that phone call.
Never.
Blocked that number so you didn't keep
We love
calling.
hearing from you.
I'm joking, but, well, I hope I'm joking. But anyway, just listening to the podcast this morning, finished it up after listening to part of it last night, and just had to call and comment about a couple things here. I am the messy one, and so in our room, all too often I end up with piles everywhere, and it's something that I've noticed that if I can get the piles gone, it does make the room feel that much better.
Agreed.
And it's also talking about TV and stuff like that. That's one of those things that always been a battle for us. I wish it was gone, but my wife likes to watch TV at night. Still working on that. I'm not sure when or if I'll win that battle. But we won't make it a battle. I just bring it up every once in a while.
Very well.
Choose your battles.
Also wanted to mention along the other thing about what things we do and stuff like that. I've never been a Hallmark type person. I think it's a huge conspiracy that
Yes.
the card companies and stuff like that come up with these holidays so we have to buy things. But I say that somewhat in jest, but also kind of believe in it. I hate buying cards. I know my wife understands this, and I'm glad she understands it, because I don't feel like they can put in a card what I truly feel.
It's a good
Nor
point.
do I want to go pay them to try and put into a card what I feel, because they're not going to get it right anyway. Is this somewhat of an excuse? Probably at times, but it makes it difficult for me. I'm a geek, and I tend to do things more of a geeky way, which may be a text message, an email, or I've gone as far as to set up a website for her at one time, just telling her I love her. And,
Dude, that's cool.
well, from my perspective, I really put a lot of my heart and soul into it. She didn't quite take it the same way. And but there is one thing that she has appreciated, and I'll pass this along because some other people may go, that's a good idea. One thing that she loves is when I leave her a voicemail. And I thought, well, so many times I try calling her and she answers the phone. Well, it's not that I don't want to talk to her, but I wanted to leave her a voicemail.
Okay, so here goes Tim again.
Wow, I didn't think you were going to take that seriously about blocking my calls, but I guess cutting me off is the next best thing, right? Maybe that should be taken as a hint that I'm talking too long. But I'll finish my thought and then I'll let you go. What I ended up doing was I set up a Google Voice number for my wife that
That's
the
cool.
voicemails got delivered to her email.
That's
so
cool.
When I wanted to make a call her and leave her a message, I could call that number and not wake her up if she wasn't awake, or talk to her.
Right, because she's not
I
getting
wanted
that
to
message.
leave a message. And it has really turned out to be a really cool thing that she enjoys. She looks forward to getting those emails. It may be me just calling to say I love you, or just telling her things I've appreciated lately, or
That's
most
cool.
of it, maybe even sing to her. You don't want me to sing, but she somehow enjoys it when I sing to her.
Absolutely.
But it's just a good idea, something that she appreciates, and just wanted to pass it along. Thanks for all you do. Take care. Bye.
What a special idea. She's got her own voicemail box from her husband. And, while we may not want our husbands singing to everyone, it is special when they burst out into song for us. And that just brings a smile to my face even just hearing you talk about that. So thank you for calling in. We do not block anyone's numbers because guess what?
We love them.
This all goes to Google Voice too.
Yeah, that's right.
So again, you can call us 24/7. We love hearing from you, and just are so excited, with the emails and the voicemails this week, just to hear what's going on. You guys are sharing us with your friends. We're getting emails that, are saying, hey, I shared you with so-and-so and, saw that they were a fan on Facebook, or, saw this. And that's huge for us, that you guys love what you're getting so much that you're passing it on to your friends.
Yep.
And that really is the biggest compliment
You can give us.
that you can give us. And so we need to jump into these last couple of chapters.
We do. And if we run a little long tonight, it's because we've had a lot here in the first half of the show. And, we have two heavy topics, two heavy keys we're gonna get into, I think. But we'll see. If we run a little over, it's not going to be much. So
you guys
all right.
love us, so
I know.
you'll hang in there for a couple extra minutes.
So this week is the last week of the Stripped Down podcast small group, and we are going to be starting with Change of Scenery, which is a physical intimacy.
It's on page 133 in your books if you are trying to locate it. And this is the chapter that really talks about trying something new, changing it up. For so many years, Tony and I, the only place we had sex was in our bedroom. Like the only, lights out, nighttime. That was it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very much so.
I mean, it was just.
I think I've blocked out many of those years.
Oh, I know you have.
Because they were so bad.
Well, and
I mean, the sex was so bad.
Dude. I mean, I know it wasn't great, but like so bad.
Yes.
Wow. That's a little bit harsh.
But you know what? I bet
harsh.
you. Yes, I know.
Okay.
But I will say a lot of that was probably because of me as well, just because of the pornography addiction that I had.
Okay, because I mean, like, I understand it's night and day better now, but in my personal opinion, it wasn't, so bad. I do think that was you, not me.
Yeah. No. I
okay.
I
so
think
for you, it could be so bad.
Yes.
I'll give you that. My section in the book, I like the way I start this because I say same place, same time, every time. It kind of tied in for me when we started writing this chapter, the whole Batman promo where it's, tune in, same bat channel, same bat time, tune in next week, whatever that exact line was. But for so many couples, that's the way their sex life is. I mean, whether it's, we always have sex on Saturday nights, or we always are in the missionary position, or we're always in our bedroom.
Lights off.
We never have sex in the morning. We never, we have other rooms in the house that we've never explored sexually.
Right.
We've never had sex outside. We've never, I can't remember which day it was, but there was one day, we'll have to look it up. There was one day during our 7 days of sex challenge where we talked about change of scenery, and Tony's looking it up right now. I would encourage you this week, after you've listened to this podcast, to go and take a look at, Tony's going to get me the day here.
Change it up as day 2. So if you go to the blog and just hit 7 days of sex challenge, you look at day 2 and
so the comments, would the comments have been on day 3 then?
Yes.
Okay. The comments.
No, it would have been on day 2.
Oh, on day 2. Read what these couples had to say about people were having it on their sun decks. People, one couple and
we got 108 comments on this one.
Well, a lot of that was us responding.
That's true. So half of this, so you got 54 comments.
But there's a whole big world outside of your bedroom.
Very big world.
There's this gigantic world outside of your bedroom. There are positions that you might want to try that you are both comfortable with, but just like Carrie and Blake, who hadn't talked about it, you don't know that you're both comfortable with it because nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about, hey, let's, spread out a blanket in the living room. Maybe put on, it's getting cold in some parts of the country. Maybe put on a fire or candlelight. Simply being in a different place.
In a tent.
On top of a mountain.
Amen. Been there.
Done that. I actually have a scar to prove it. That was falling down the next day.
I was going to say, not that night, I don't think.
No, just that trip. Just that trip.
Awesome. That's great.
It brings excitement. It challenges your mind to think about your sex life differently, simply because the environment is not the same.
Right.
I'm not saying you have to go have sex outside, if that's too far outside of your comfort zone. I'm not saying do things you're completely uncomfortable with, but challenge yourself to try something different. If your sex life feels boring, if you feel like you're in a rut, you are.
Mm-hmm.
But part of getting out of that rut is trying something new.
How did we overcome that during
our 60 days?
Our 60 days. Or what were we even trying to do before it? I mean, I think a lot of it for us was the talk ended up happening in our bedrooms. It wasn't a discussion that we had prior to that point. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like we had the discussion during the day and then we said, okay, you know what? Tonight, when we go to bed, we're going to try doggy style. A lot of what we did and have done to this day is still in the bedroom. It's us talking about our sexual desires in the bedroom when we're in the moment.
Right. And trying different positions.
Right.
If you're going to actually change the physical environment that you're in, that's going to require a conversation so that you don't end up in the bedroom.
Right. No. No. Like when we wanted to try in the car, we've talked about that, and we've made our emergency kit, and we've gone out and done it, or at the
and sometimes
parks.
we actually remember to bring our emergency kit, unlike a couple weeks ago.
Right. But it does have to happen. The conversation again. It's one of those steps you got to take, and you got to have these conversations. And I know we sound like a broken record at times, but that's what needs to happen if you want to change the scenery a bit. And the scenery doesn't necessarily just have to be outside of your bedroom, but maybe you don't always want to see your wife's face. You want to see her back.
Okay.
You following me on that?
Yeah, I am now. I was just trying to figure out where you're going with that, because that was borderline like, what are you talking about? The thing... Like, you don't want to see her face. Don't pause right after that statement. The thing is, if your sex life is not where you want it to be, my guess is it's because you're not talking about it. You're not conveying your desires, your wants to your spouse.
True.
Because very much like Tony told me the other night, I cannot read your mind. Now, sometimes it seems like he can, on rare occasions. But the reality is that he cannot read my mind. Your spouse cannot read your mind. He or she does not know if you like to be touched in a certain place. They do not know if you would secretly love to be romanced on the living room couch.
Mm-hmm.
Or trying, you haven't made out in the back seat of the car in 20 years. Maybe it'd be fun to, go to a movie and then make out in the back of the car. They don't know that. If you don't take the time and make the effort to say, hey, I was thinking about this. Wonder if you'd be up for it.
Right.
The answer might be no. And that's okay. Because the important thing is that you have opened up the conversation by sharing what you would desire. And if the answer is a no, then you say, what might you be up for?
And if you're the reluctant spouse, because I know for many years, it was tough to get Elisa on board with me. It was. There were times when it was just,
No
Elisa, what is stopping you here? And if you're the reluctant spouse, I would have to say from the spouse that was looking for change and desire, you need to look at yourself as a wife or as a husband. You can't look at yourself as, I'm a mommy, I'm a dad, I'm the provider. You need to look at yourself as a lover.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who you are in the bedroom with your spouse. You are a lover. And all the other stuff needs to be swept aside. Because I think a lot of us in our marriages, we get these, we put these tags and these labels on ourselves. Oh, I'm a mommy, and I don't do that anymore. Well, crud, man. 15 years ago when we met, you were a wild child dancing down at the bars, having a darn good old time. So I remember that.
Are you talking about me?
No, but
Okay.
I'm just sort of saying that.
Okay. I'm like, I don't remember.
But you were a wild child too. We used to have some wild times.
Yeah, but I was, when we met, I was
Yes.
too young to go to the bars.
Well, I know you were too young to go to the bars, but every other time, or everywhere else you were. So, I believe we put these labels on ourselves, and we just roll into it. I'm a mom. I'm the provider of the house. I have to provide for my family, so I can't do this other stuff. No, you're a lover, and in the bedroom, you love on each other, just as God has asked us to do. For crying out loud, read Song of Solomon. Solomon was the king, and the dude knew how to romance and be a lover to his wife. So you got to break down who you think you are in the bedroom. And again, and if you're the reluctant spouse, I'm not saying you have to go hog wild and go crazy, but you got to let go a little bit. And Elise and I still work on certain things for both of us, because sometimes even I feel a little awkward. She may want to do something. I'm sort of like, I don't know, but let's go for it. If it's something we don't like, we just let each other know. Sometimes it kills the mood for a little bit, and we're sort of like, okay, that was sort of awkward. What do we do? All right, let's go back to the basics, because we know we love this and we know we enjoy this, and we'll go there.
And that's okay.
And that's totally
if you
okay.
find yourself saying, I've told him, like, okay, I think we can do this, whatever it might be, trying something new. But we have allowed each other permission in our marriage to say, this isn't working for me. And I think it's important that you guys give yourselves that same permission, so there are no hard feelings.
Right. And
you just regroup. You change it up. There is that saying out there, variety is the spice of life.
Right.
Add a little spice.
One thing we've done is eyes wide open.
Eyes wide open. We
podcasted on that. Instead of shutting your eyes, look at your spouse.
It's an incredibly intimate thing to do.
Right.
It changes it up.
It does. It totally changes what you think. I mean, your eyes are on your spouse. There's the only vision you see in front of you is your spouse.
Have sex in the morning or with the lights on. Actually, look at your spouse naked.
Come to bed naked. Heck, I'm trying to think. I mean, in the backyard, again, like Elisa said, go check out the 7 Days of Sex Challenge. And
there are so many more ideas. I mean, there was
comments.
stuff on there that I was like, are you kidding me? I would have never thought about that.
I know, people got really creative. It was cool.
It was very good. So don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid to try something new. Just because you've been married, a million years, and you feel like all you are is a mom and, a chauffeur and everything else.
And a dad. Or
you've got all these other titles.
I mean, there's stay-at-home dads now. A lot of you guys are stay-at-home dads.
I'm guessing at some point in time, the two of you are wildly passionate about each other. Go back there.
Let's find that.
Yeah. And if you need a little help getting there, read the next chapter.
Right.
Chapter 14, this was a very special one to me, is called Prayer Works. And it's actually where the title of tonight's episode came from. Heaven help us. There are times in our marriages where we realize we cannot accomplish the change. We cannot go forward by ourselves.
Right.
And when Tony and I were in our 60 days of sex, there was a time, it was about halfway through, Tony got a viral migraine. The kids were both sick. I had been nursemaid to everybody in the house for a good week. And I was fried. I did not want to participate in this challenge anymore. I did not want to, I wanted to go to sleep and not, just be able to sleep through the night without some
Buddy bother you?
One of the other 3 people in my house waking me up. I thought that was not an unreasonable expectation. And yet Tony was feeling better. So, game back on. Except I didn't want to play. And I laid there in bed that night praying. I prayed to God earnestly that he would give me a desire for my spouse. That I would be aroused and want to be intimate with Tony. And, you pray and God sometimes answers those prayers incredibly quickly. To the point that, we had amazing sex that night.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an interesting conversation after sex, because I told Tony, I said, you're not going to believe this. And he's, what? He's like, I want to go to sleep. What do you do?
At this point, I was still pretty darn tired too, because I wasn't really up for it. You
were more healthy than sick.
Yeah. And I'm just one of those people that when there's a goal, we got to stick to our goal. There's a task at hand. We gotta keep going. And at this point, though, I was pretty darn beat down, tired as well, just from the sickness I had gone through.
So I spring it on him like, I prayed for sex tonight. And you did what?
Yeah, that wakes you up real quick because Elise and I have worked on praying together. It's not something we do every day. It's it's something that we still struggle with. So to hear her 2 years ago saying this was like earth-shattering, shocking to me. I'm like, you did what? Like, you prayed to God, like trying to get aroused?
Yeah, I did. It was the
first time that I think either of us have ever gone to God about our sex life.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, it was one of those things where, I'm laying there in bed that night and I got nothing for Tony. I got nothing. And, but I made this promise and I knew I had to honor it. And so I was like, okay, I am not going to be able to do this by myself. And Tony's trying, but he's not getting anywhere. So what do I?
Yeah,
left?
if I'm right, I was almost about to pass out. I'm pretty sure I was like, come on, if this is gonna happen, this needs to happen soon, because I'm just sitting here going, this isn't working, and I just need to get to bed. I want to make this happen, but if it's not, it's not.
And so I did. I used, it's kind of like, so often, when do we cry out to God? When we're at rock bottom, when we've got nothing else. And that's what I did that night. And, I have challenged so many women since then to pray for their sex life, not to pray for a sex life. That's a different thing. That's a completely different conversation. But those of you in a married relationship, to pray for your sex life. If you are not being aroused by your husband, pray for arousal, pray for desire. Husbands, same thing for your wife. Pray for your relationship. Don't be afraid to bring God into your bedroom.
Yeah, and I have been there since Elisa's first time doing this. I have been there, and at times when I am just going, God, I am tired. I am beat down. I have made a promise to my wife that we are going to be intimate, sexually intimate, twice a week. Help me, Lord, tonight. Help me to find Elisa attractive. Help me to find her desirable and to stir these emotions in me so that I can please her during this time.
It is amazing how quickly God seems to respond to that prayer. And it really goes back to the heart of the Bible where, God has this desire for our marriages to be strong, for us to desire each other in our marriages. You read the Song of Songs and you read this amazing poem about a man and a woman, a married couple's desire for each other. And you realize that's what God desires for us. So why would he not bless that?
Right.
And so while it sounds very weird, and while, it took a little getting used to for Tony to say, okay, I don't really know how she's able to multitask in the bedroom, but okay, she's multitasking again. It works.
Yeah.
It works. God should not be left outside of your bedroom.
Yep.
He shouldn't. Guess what? He's seen you naked. It's not a big deal to him.
He knows. Yeah. You got to bring God in there. You have to bring God into your bedroom. We got to stop walking through our bedroom door and shutting him out and thinking that he has no reason to be in there. He has every reason to be in there. Every reason. We need to stop compartmentalizing God and saying that he doesn't know what we desire, doesn't know about our sex life. He knows. He loves it. He sees it. He wants it to be there. So we need to as Christians, we got to allow them in. And you got to sit there and go, God, come on in. Come see it. This is what we do in here. And we want you to be here and we want you to bless it. Because I'll tell you, once I started doing that, it's amazing what has happened in our bedroom. And outside of it, I mean, we say in our bedroom because I think there's a lot of compartmentalization. And so once you just let it go and just let him in, you'll be amazed at how he'll touch you. And I know our experience in this time with how God really transformed Elisa in that time period may not happen for all of you. Some of you may sit there and go, man, I'm still dry. Dude, I'm still dry. Keep praying. Keep coming to him. Talk to him. Let him know your desires. Let him know your wants. Let him know what's stopping you.
Exactly. I mean, for some, you know, God answers everything in his time. And while I had, you know, a very, you know, quick response, I know that there are those of you out there that are dealing with some very big issues in your marriage, and you have been praying. Don't stop.
Nope.
Don't stop. Don't stop believing that God is going to answer your prayers. Don't stop sharing your feelings with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop desiring intimacy with your husband or wife. For your marriage to become extraordinary, you have to want them. You have to want your spouse. You have to desire intimacy in all the different forms.
Yeah.
And you know, we started the book talking about your priorities from the top down, and we wrap it up with prayer, because just like this book is bookended with God, surrounded by God, your marriage should be too.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
an accident that these chapters were the first and last chapters. And it's not an accident that you've listened to us through this podcast, or that you've just joined us starting this week. This type of relationship is available to each and every one of you. These keys are not meant to go in a sequential order. There is no, you've got to get to A to B before you can get to C. You can jump to the last one and go back to the first one and make these keys yours.
Right.
Figure out how they fit into your marriage and what you need to do to take it to the next level. We want you guys to be able to sit there and go, you know what? My spouse is the most amazing person in my life. I have a marriage that is extraordinary. Whatever that means in your marriage.
Yep.
You know, we are just one marriage out of hundreds in this one community. You guys are doing amazing things in your own families. And that's why we are so blessed to have all of these different couples give feedback and give support, whether it's on the website or on the Facebook fan page, or you're calling into us. I've said it before, you guys are changing each other's marriages.
Right.
And it is mind-blowing, the power in this group. It is mind-blowing what you guys find when you start making intimacy the priority in your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's somebody saying our marriage is turning around 360 degrees, having somebody write in that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
This is an endurance event, guys.
Yep.
Marriage is not until the next best thing comes along. It is until death do you part. So why not have the most amazing marriage you can have. Why not work to make this be the strongest foundation in your life?
I agree.
Sorry, I'm on my soapbox tonight.
No, and I agree, and I wanted to lift up a couple that has recently started their 60 days of sex challenge, and the winners of this week's prize and our last week of prizes
For the time being.
For the time being, if you are a company that would love to partner up with us and have some giveaways, please contact Tony at oneextraordinarymarriage.com. But I wanted to lift up Lester and Reagan Francis, and they communicated with Lester communicated with us on the fan page, and it's been amazing. On September 13th, I just want to read this one line from Reagan. She wrote, "We made it through week 1, and we are already experiencing a closeness that we have never experienced in our 3.5 years of marriage. Thank you so much, because I actually look forward to our intimate time together. It is truly amazing." And folks, there's nothing more we can say. It's what it's about. It's about getting close with your spouse. It's about getting close with God. And by doing all of that, you are going to have an amazing time in your marriage, an amazing experience, and it's just something that we desire for you this week. Love you guys.